Fairy Tail has a reputation. Ask serious anime fans about it and they will tell you it relies too much on power of friendship, that the stakes are never real because characters never stay dead, that Natsu wins every fight by feeling his emotions harder than the villain. They are not wrong about any of those things. And they are completely wrong about Fairy Tail. Because they are describing the surface of a show and ignoring what it is actually about. Fairy Tail is not a show about fighting. It is a show about what it means to belong somewhere, to have people who will ruin themselves for you and let you ruin yourself for them, to be part of something that calls itself a family and means it. I watched 328 episodes. I would watch them again. Fairy Tail is a long-running shounen manga and anime by Hiro Mishima. It follows Lucy Heartfilia, a celestial spirit mage who joins the Fairy Tail Guild and the found family of wizards inside it. The fights are loud. The emotions are louder. Both of those things are correct and both are reasons to watch it. The Fairy Tail Guild is a family. Not a metaphorical family in the way that most anime guilds and teams and organizations claim to be. A family in the operational sense, these people make each other's problems their problems without being asked. They do not calculate whether helping is worth the cost. They do not weigh their own safety against the safety of a guild member. They show up. Every time. No matter what it costs. The central argument of Fairy Tail is not that love makes you powerful, although the show believes that too. The central argument is that belonging to something real, to people who have claimed you and whom you have claimed in return, is the most important thing a person can have. I have watched many anime that claim to be about found family. Fairy Tail is the one that made me feel it. I did not fully understand what Fairy Tail was doing until I watched the Tower of Heaven arc and spent time with Urza Scarlet's past. Urza was a child slave who was forced to help build a tower as a sacrificial offering. She was separated from the friends she loved. She built herself into something invincible because being invincible was the only protection available to a child who had nothing. She joined Fairy Tail and let the guild become the thing she had been denied as a child, a home. When the Tower of Heaven arc asks her to sacrifice herself for the people she loves, her willingness to do so is not a plot device. It is the logical conclusion of who she is. Everything she became was in service of the people she decided were worth becoming it for. That backstory, told with Mishima's specific directness and lack of irony, is one of the most affecting character constructions in shounen manga. There is a specific feeling that Fairy Tail generates that I have not found in other anime at the same intensity. It is the feeling of watching people be completely unself-conscious about how much they love each other. The guild members fight each other constantly. They are loud and destructive and completely unable to behave in public. But when one of them is in danger, the response is immediate and total. Nobody asks whether it is their problem. Nobody weighs the risk. There is a scene in the Phantom Lord arc where the entire guild marches to war because someone they love was threatened. Not a strategic decision. Not a calculated response. A family response. Watching that scene, I understood exactly what kind of show Fairy Tail is and why the critics who dismiss it for being emotionally simple have misidentified simplicity as shallowness. Yes, Natsu wins fights by caring more. Yes, the power of friendship is a real mechanic in this show. Yes, villains are sometimes defeated by the hero feeling his emotions with enough intensity. I want to offer a defense of this that is not ironic. The world Fairy Tail describes is one where the strength of your connections determines how far you can go. That is not a fantasy. That is an accurate description of how most human achievements actually work. Nobody does anything significant alone. The people behind you, the people who made you who you are, the people whose expectations you carry into situations that should be beyond you, these things are real sources of power in the world outside anime. Natsu externalizes something that is usually invisible. That is not a failure of storytelling. It is a choice about what story to tell. If you are new to Fairy Tail, 3 arcs will tell you everything you need to know. The Tower of Heaven arc for Urza's backstory. The Tenro Island arc for the moment the show commits fully to its own stakes. The Grand Magic Games arc for the show at its most technically accomplished, with the best fight choreography and the most satisfying character payoffs in the series. The show is uneven across 300 episodes. That is true of every long-running shounen. The question is whether the best of it justifies the length. For me the answer is completely yes. The best of Fairy Tail is as good as the best of any shounen I have watched. I started Fairy Tail expecting entertainment. I got entertainment. I also got something I did not expect, a very clear image of the kind of belonging I want. Not the specific magic and dragonfire version. The underlying structure. People who show up without being asked. People who treat your problems as theirs before you have finished explaining them. People who are loud about how much they care instead of performing restraint. Fairy Tail is not a subtle show. It is an honest one. It knows exactly what it values and it says so in every episode. After 328 episodes, that honesty did not wear out. It accumulated. By the end I had spent more time inside that guild than I had spent inside most places in my real life. That is what a long-form story can do that nothing else can. Fairy Tail did it. Fairy Tail is available on Crunchyroll with all 328 episodes plus the sequel series Fairy Tail, 100 Years Quest, which is currently airing. Start from the beginning. Give it 10 episodes before you make up your mind. If you have already written it off based on its reputation, I am asking you to reconsider. The critics are right about the surface. They missed everything underneath it. Subscribe for more honest coverage of the anime that actually deserve their audience.